Casting Crowns hits. Casting Crowns The Very Next Thing Tour with Danny Gokey and Unspoken. It's an evening you won't want to miss.
Get your tickets now to see Casting Crowns, Danny Gokey, and Unspoken at the SIU Arena on Good Friday, April 14th. Tickets are on sale now, and buy them on our website at wvyn.org.
Real Life Radio, 90.9 The Vine.
90.9 The Vine, in conjunction with AreaSports.net, proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is the area's only locally produced weekly sports show that is live on FM radio and also streamed live on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and WVYN.org. We will be on the couch this morning. Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. And hello again, sports fans. It is 8:30 on a Saturday morning. Time for another edition of the Sports Couch. 90 minutes of great local sports talk. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio, and look who's back. Danny Anselment's back in studio with us after a well-deserved vacation. Well, you look like you had a good time there, Danny.
We had a nice time down there, Randy. It's not something I'd want to do every day, but we had a great time.
Well, good. I didn't tell people last week exactly where you went, so now we will tell them where you went, and that was Mexico, right?
Mexico.
You went south of the border.
Mexico.
Did you have some good food down there?
You know, it's hard to beat Southern Illinois food. I guess one of the best things was they had a real nice baked potato. I was really looking forward to this.
Uh-huh.
And they'd cut out about half the potato and put some other stuff in there. They just wasted a good potato.
Oh, boy. Well, you know, while you were gone last Saturday, I was thinking, you know, he goes to Mexico, and the weather was just like Mexico here last week.
Yeah.
We had sunny skies and warm temperatures. People were wearing shorts and T-shirts and flip-flops last Saturday, and now here we are spitting snow this morning.
Yeah, you know, summer's over, folks. We're back to the winter season.
Yeah, we are. And it may be just the 25th day of February, but March Madness has already begun. And wow, we had some incredible regional tournament championships around the area last night, didn't we, Danny?
You know, Randy, this is probably one of the favorite times of the year. Friday night regional championship. That's probably one of the most festive nights in high school basketball. A lot of teams were involved. I witnessed the Weber Woodlawn game last night, and the gym wasn't sold out, but I'm going to tell you, they had a big crowd there last night for those two teams to play, and everybody got their money's worth.
They sure did, and we'll get an insight into that game a little bit later on with Brian Gamber, head coach of the Woodlawn Cardinals, going to join us on the show. We're also going to talk to Doug Miller, the head coach of the Gallatin County Hawks. They got a big win last night.
His team has to go to overtime to defeat the Cairo Pilots down there at Hardin County last night, and what an emotional week for the Gallatin County Hawks.
Yeah, the passing of Radar Patton, a legendary coach and former police chief down there. We will talk to Doug Miller about all of that coming up in the show this morning. Also, its season has come to an end for the Edwards County Lions, as Coach Russ Gerlach will join us this morning. The Lions lost last night to a very good Mount Carmel team, but what a season that the Lions had, a 20-win season, and I think 3 winning seasons in a row now.
Yeah, Russ has definitely got things headed the right direction there. He's got a great core of sophomores to build around, and look for that Edwards County team to have some great success in years to come.
We'll talk to Russ here in just a few moments after we go through the scores. Also going to visit with this morning Coach Doug Creel of the Mount Vernon Rams, also the athletic director there, of course, at Mount Vernon. Last home game of the season last night, and the Rams put a little scare down the stretch into the defending state champion Belleville-Altoff Crusaders. Rams were down 17, got the game down to 2 points, Danny, before falling.
Yeah, the Rams fell 54-47, and that, I'll guarantee you there was a lot of people surprised when they seen that score this morning.
Definitely so. And, of course, it's Hall of Fame weekend in Mount Vernon, so we'll be talking to some of the Hall of Famers this morning. Not going to have time to connect with all of them, but some of them we are going to visit with this morning. We'll visit with Terry Gamber, one of the players on that 1964-65 Rams basketball team. Terry, of course, is a Hall of Famer himself as an individual. Well, now one of the teams that he plays on is going into the Hall of Fame, and so we'll talk to Judge Gamber this morning.
He was in attendance last night to see his son's Woodlawn Cardinals be regional champs.
Yeah, so we'll talk to Coach Gamber about both the game that he saw last night as well as his team from the mid-'60s that's going into the Hall of Fame tonight at Mount Vernon. Also, a longtime legendary golfer at Mount Vernon, John Ellis, went in last night as an individual into the Mount Vernon High School Sports Hall of Fame. We'll talk to John later on in the show. There's a guy who's made, I think it was, we'll look at it again here in a minute, 14 hole-in-ones in his life.
I used to work with John out at General Tire, so it'll be interesting to reconnect with him this morning.
Okay. All right, we'll talk to John. And we're going to talk to David Spann. David Spann, an incredible athlete at Mount Vernon in a variety of different sports, probably best known for what he did in football because he was the all-time leading rusher in football until recent years, but also was a great basketball player, wrestler, you name it. David could do it. And he's going to join us on the show this morning as well. So some great Hall of Famers are going to be part of the show this morning. So stay tuned. We're going to connect with Coach Russ Gerlach in just a moment. But, Danny, why don't you run through some of those regional championship scores from last night? All
right. At the Wayne City Regional, it was Woodlawn defeating Weber Township in overtime, 49-43. At Altamont 62, Nokomis 54. Down at Cobden, the Meridian Bobcats, without head coach Eric Griffith, defeat Goreville 75-69. Coach Griffith's having some health issues, and they kept him in captivity and wouldn't let him go to the game last night. At Crab Orchard, Christopher 71, Cesar 44. At Dietrich defeats Oblong 54-52. Sounds like that was a heck of a game. Down at Hardin County, the Gallatin County Hawks in overtime defeat Cairo 74-64. At North Clay, Effingham St. Anthony defeats a Grayville team that nobody suspected would be in the regional championship, 64-54. And the Oakville Rockets, they keep rolling along over at Valmar last night, 80-65. In 2A, Nashville makes a 2-hour trip north to Piazza Southwest. They defeat them 52-29. At El Dorado over Harrisburg, 57-41. At Flora, Mount Carmel 78, Edwards County 51. At Hillsboro, Trenton Westland 74, Hillsboro 66. At Newton, the number 3 Robinson defeats number 2 Marshall 56-47 last night. At Pana, T-Town keeps rolling along 68-35. That sets up a T-Town Mount Carmel matchup at West Frankfort on Wednesday night. At Trico, Pinckneyville 63, DuQuoin 52. That means Nashville and Pinckneyville will meet at Nashville on Tuesday night, Randy, for the 4th, 5th, or 6th time this season.
You think anybody will show up for that game?
I don't imagine. I don't think hardly anybody will be there.
Yeah.
At Jabot, Alton Marquette 54, Jabot 48. And regular season games, Belleville-Altoff 54, Mount Vernon 47, Centralia 53, Cahokia 47, Carbondale 61, Marion 56. And there was another game of comebacks.
It was.
Marion was down quite a bit in that game, and they fought back, and they'll take on the Benton Rangers this week, and that'll be a very interesting game between those two teams right there. I could see Marion upsetting the Benton Rangers.
Well, I think Marion was down 20 points to Carbondale at one point and got that game back to a point or two, just like Mount Vernon was down 17 to Altoff and got it back to 2 points. So, yeah.
Carterville 45, Heron 41, Effingham 83, Taylorville 77, Jerseyville 61, Muscuda 43, Mount Zion 66, Salem 59, Triad 58, Columbia 43.
All right, and 3A regionals, of course, will begin this week. Mount Vernon Rams will take on Salem Wildcats on Monday night up at Centralia. We'll talk to Coach Doug Creel about that preview of that regional and last night's game coming up here in a little bit. But right now, let's focus on that 2A regional championship last night up in Flora. It was the Mount Carmel Aces coming in as the top seed. They took on the Edwards County Lions, and they won that game last night. The Lions bow out but wrap up an incredible season under Coach Russ Gerlach, and he joins us right now. Good morning, Russ. How are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Great. Good to have you on the sports couch. And, again, tough loss last night. You never want to see a season come to an end, but I know you're so proud of your guys. You have a 20-win season, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that's 3 straight winning seasons in a row there at Edwards County.
Yes, it is. No, we don't. We didn't want the season to end. We've had a lot of fun this year. All the players and coaches have had a great time. You never want to see it end, but last night we definitely ran into I know El Dorado's beat them, and I know El Dorado's beat us 3 times, but I still say we played the best team we played all season last night. When they turned it on in the third quarter, it was pretty hard to do much of anything, but No, we're proud of the season we had, proud of our boys, proud of their accomplishments over, like I said, the last 2 or 3 seasons. A couple of these kids, were dressed for all 3 regional finals we've been in, and, just, proud of what we've done, and hopefully we can keep building on that and keep having some more success in the future.
Yeah, you went in halftime last night. It was still within reach, and then things did turn the other way in that third quarter. Talk about that.
Well, in the first half, we scored 30 points, but it felt like we're having trouble to score. It was just kind of one of those weird deals where, it feels like everything's difficult to make happen, but we're still right there. And, we went to halftime and we made a couple minor adjustments more on the defensive end. They came out in the second half and they kept doing what they were doing, but I think they were switching a lot of screens. And in the first half, we were able to catch them on that and get some easy layups and some shots off of that. But boy, in the third quarter, their switches were right on, and things that were open in the first half all of a sudden were turnovers in the second. And they're so long and they're athletic, and like I said, when they were locked in defensively on some of that, it made everything difficult for us. And like I said, they're really, really good. I mean, I've seen T-Town play once. I don't know if they're better than T-Town or not, but I know they can play right with El Dorado for sure. I know Robinson's pretty good as well. So that whole sectional's got 4 great teams. But our boys got nothing to be ashamed of. That's definitely one of the top teams in the state.
Well, their size is just something you can't simulate that in practice, can you?
No, we played them last summer. We played them kind of close, and I think the kids are like, well, I think we can play with them, and it's like, well, guys, it is just a summer game. We don't know, if they're running all their stuff, if they're, playing like they would in the regular season. Like you said, we did play with them for a half, and felt like we could stick with them. But no, Marcotte inside, we tried doing a couple different things on him, and if we played behind him, he just turned and I would say shoved us out of the way, but he just turned into us and scored. And if we tried to front him, we had a hard time stopping the lob, because even if we had help, it was hard to jump high enough to get to the lob. And he's just a difficult matchup for us. I think Bobby did a decent job on Carpenter, but I think when they saw the way we were guarding Carpenter, they just decided to use Marcotte. And when you've got 2 guys that are that good and that big, if we decide to take one of them away, well, that's fine with them. They'll just go to the other kid. That's what they did last night.
Well, Russ, that's a good team that's well-rounded. That's what you run into. I know your Edwards County team. Some of the matchups you have has created problems for teams this season also. And sometimes, you just got to tip your hat to the better team. Sometimes you give it your best effort and you still come up short, but you go home winners regardless of what the scoreboard says.
Well, yeah, like you're saying, the matchups, we had to try to give up one thing for another. We felt like their point guard, number 3, I can't remember his last name. We kind of felt like he was their 5th option, so we were going to help off of him. And I think he scored 13 points last night, so he stepped up and helped the team. But for us, there's been nights where Nathaniel Schmittler's had 20 points, Cade Schnickers had 20, Walls had 20, Marty Schmittler's had 20 points, Bobby Brake 15. A couple of guys off the bench, Cade Rivers and Jared Columbia's both had double digits a few times. So, we've got we presented matchup problems for other teams as well. But, like you said, sometimes the other team is just better, and there's sometimes it just doesn't feel like there's much you can do about it. Of our 7 losses, 3 are to El Dorado, who's ranked in the top 5, and 1 to Mount Carmel now, who I think is they may only be ranked in the top 10, but I think they're a top 5 team. And then we've got another loss to Harrisburg, who was a regional champion or a regional finalist, and then Marshall County, who's a school of 1,300. So I really don't feel like any of our losses are anything we should be ashamed of. And like I said, I said a lot last couple of days. We're pretty proud of what we did this year.
Yeah, everybody loves to keep playing and keep going, and but 20 wins, very hard to come by. And when those seasons comes, the guy needs to cherish them, doesn't he?
Absolutely, and something that I really didn't think about until this morning was the Grayville tournament this year. We only got 3 games in instead of 5 like last year. We only got 4 games at Christmas tournament that we did compared to like Conrad Allen last year 5. So we had 3 games less in the regular season action, and then last year in the postseason we had 4 games, and this year we only had 2. So, we played quite a few less games and was still able to get the 20 wins. We only played 27 games, and last year we played 32. So, 5 less games, and we're still able to get the 20 wins. That's nothing for our boys to have to be proud of.
Well, that's exactly right. And you're going to have some key guys coming back next year, too. I mean, you lose some guys this year, but you're going to have some good guys coming back next year to continue to build around.
Yeah, I was going to say our 3 seniors, Jared Columbia, who came off the bench, and I've said this 100 times lately, he's one of the most improved players from when I moved here to now. I'm really proud of the progress he made. Then 2-year starters in Bobby Brake and Nathaniel Schmittler. Bobby was never the leading scorer very often, but being the point guard, he was the one who I probably got the maddest at the most, just because that's kind of the way the thing works. The point guard sometimes takes the brunt of the yelling, and then Nathaniel, he was our leading scorer last 2 years, and we're going to miss all 3. But we do have 3 starters coming back, and Cage Sticker, Justin Wallace, and Marty Schmittler, and then a junior Tiger Clodfelter, another sophomore Cade Rivers coming back, and I think those 5 is going to be a pretty good core group to play around tomorrow, or not tomorrow. Like to play tomorrow, but play around next year, and then we've got to figure out who our bench is for next year. We've got some kids that dress JV and that dress the varsity that played a lot of JV minutes, and will they progress enough between now and November to where they can step up and give us some minutes off the bench?
Yeah. Well, hey, we congratulate you on another terrific season, 20-win season, and some hardware along the way. It's been a lot of fun to follow the Lions again this year. We congratulate you on a good season, Russ, and enjoy some well-deserved time off now. I know you're going to probably watch a lot more hoops, as you'll probably be following some teams through the tournament, won't you?
Well, I'll be able to watch a little bit more in the evenings. I think I might try to go down Wednesday night and watch the T-Town Mount Carmel game.
Yeah.
That's kind of a long drive to make it every night, but I think I'm going to go down Wednesday. And I think my wife, as normal, has a pretty good list of things for me to start doing around the house now the season's over. So
yeah.
I probably better start taking that list off.
All right. Okay. Well, have yourself a good weekend. Thanks again for joining us on the Sports Couch. All right.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate all the coverage and support you guys give us throughout the year.
Absolutely. Okay, Russ. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Russ Gerlach, head coach of the Edwards County Lions, and boy, he has really, really turned that program around since moving over there from Wayne City in 3 straight, winning seasons.
Yeah, Russ does a great job over there, and I see no reason why he shouldn't have more success in years to come. He's got the core group of sophomores that were major roles in this 20-win season, and they're going to do nothing but get bigger and stronger and better over there at Edwards County. Looking at some other scores from last night at El Dorado, the El Dorado Eagles advance 57-41. They'll go to West Frankfort this week to take on Robinson, who defeated Marshall 56-47. That'll be on Tuesday night. On Wednesday night, it'll be the Mount Carmel Aces 78-51 over Edwards County. They will take on T-Town, who defeated Pana 68-35 last night, Randy.
All right. Again, a lot of regional championships around the area last night, and, of course, one of those that a lot of people had an interest in is the one taking place down at Hardin County. And good battle last night between Gallatin County and Cairo as the Hawks come out ahead over Cairo by a score of 74-64. And joining us on the phone right now, head coach of the Hawks, and that's Doug Miller. Good morning, Doug.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Great. Good to have you on the Sports Couch this morning. Good win for your team last night. You would advance on and win a regional championship. But, hey, it wasn't easy because earlier in the week you had a real hard-fought battle over Carrier Mills, 33-29, and that's a team that had knocked you off just a few weeks before that, right?
That's very true. We were kind of, our fans were somber that night.
Sure.
Our kids were somber. I mean, it was like a morgue in the gym that night. It was kind of, everybody had to affect Coach Patton's death. And I just told my guys, win somehow, and they pulled it through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Coach, it's been a very tough week, like you said, with the passing of longtime coach down there, Radar Patton. Talk a little bit about the emotions this week at Gallatin County.
Well, it's been sad times and happy times because they've told stories on him for a week now, and he was one-of-a-kind character. He had a heart of gold. He's a competitor. He loved to win. But he loved to, we showed the gym every week, and we would basically take each other's teams and coach each other's teams sometimes. He's that crazy. He would do that. he'd coach my guys, I'd coach his girls, and we help each other out. It's good teamwork. I mean, I've enjoyed my time at Gallatin so much because of him.
Well, that atmosphere down there at Hardin County last night had to be pretty festive. Your game went into overtime. I think there was little fireworks, and for your team to hold your composure and come out of there, what an honor last night.
It was. I was so proud of my kids. They just, I mean, it was a game of runs. Caleb had scored a bunch of points in a hurry. And I kept telling my kids, hey, they're going to go on runs. Just contain the storm as much as you can, and then fight back and don't quit. I mean, we were down by 6. We'd tie it up, and we'd up by 6. And we'd down by 4, and back and forth the whole game. But our kids never quit, and we had great fan support. It was a pretty emotional night for us.
Well, you get to advance. You live to play another day. Now you'll be headed closer to home. You'll travel up to North City to take on the Christopher team. Has your team met up with those guys over the season?
We have not.
Okay. So be a little bit of unknown, but I'm sure you've seen each other play and stuff.
Well, actually, I watched Spann.net last night about 1 in the morning. I watched that Christopher McLean game.
Well, I'm glad you got to be able to see that. But, yeah, should be a great matchup between your two teams. A lot of similarities. Both teams like to push the ball up the floor a little bit, play at a little faster pace. Should be a great night of basketball down there, and what a great facility there at North City to have a sectional in.
It is, and it should be a great game, I hope. They're very athletic, very well coached. It'll be a tough game for us. They're athletic. We just got to contain their athleticism and get back on defense.
Well, you know, I'm sure Coach Stallman's saying the same thing about your Gallatin County Hawks, Doug.
Well, he does a good job, so we have to put our hands full.
Oh, well, you know, this time of the season there is no easy games, is there?
No, there's not. And we kept telling our kids, just win the regional, and anything can happen.
That's right. You know, all you got to do now is give yourself a chance. You know, earlier in the week there were several games that were on the verge of being some upsets. I know El Dorado, West Frankfort took them to the limit the other night. Robinson defeats Marshall last night, and Marshall was actually a higher seed in that game. So, you know, you just got to play 32 minutes of good basketball right now to keep your season going.
You do. I mean, and every team's going to be good from now on out. So you just got to bring your best game or your best effort and see what happens.
How about your Hawks? Are you pretty healthy heading into the game? Do you play on Tuesday night or Wednesday night?
They play on Tuesday.
Okay.
And yes, we're finally healthy for the first time in about a month.
Well, I knew earlier when Hamilton County got you over there at Rich Aaron Shootout, we talked that day before the game, and you said it was like a walking war zone. You had more guys in ice buckets and hot tubs and stuff than you did practicing.
We lost 3 in a row, and that was the weirdest practice I've ever seen in my life. We didn't run very much. We didn't practice very much. We iced in hot tubs and watched film and shot free throws basically for a week. And that didn't turn out too well for us. It was 0-3.
Yeah. Well, you know, that high school basketball is a long season, and that's one of the challenges of it, isn't it?
It is. I mean, we go the whole month of June, and then we take July off, and then we start with lifting weights in August and conditioning in August and September and October, and then it starts. It's really a long season. And by the way, and my guys are not very big, so they have to wear and tear and bang and beat and just full out effort every game. So it wore on us a little bit.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us here this morning. I know it's been a rough week in Gallatin County. Congratulations to your team, and best of luck down there Tuesday night.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, Doug, thanks so much. Have a good weekend. Okay, keep her going. All right, bye-bye. It's Doug Miller. He is the head coach of the Gallatin County Hawks, and, yeah, you know, what a gut check moment for them in that semifinal game against Carrier Mills. They all just get word that Coach Patton had passed away, and boy, you know, that hit him like a ton of bricks, because not only was he Mr. Basketball down there in Gallatin County, but, you know, he was a long-time police chief down there, too. I mean, I think he was police chief over 30 years,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
30-some years.
Yeah, so, I mean.
That's how he got his name, Radar.
Yeah, right, Radar Patton. That's right. But, you know, some people may not realize that after he was coaching the boys there and turned it over to Doug, that he'd been coaching girls here recently. Yeah. And, of course, he took the Gallatin County Lady Hawks into the sectional this year as a girls coach. So, you know, he just loved the game of basketball and just loved the kids. Just loved people. He was a people person.
Oh, there was no finer guy to talk to, Randy. He was such a joy.
Mm-hmm.
He was upbeat. He liked to laugh and joke, and he enjoyed life.
Oh, absolutely. I was talking to some basketball officials about it this week, Danny, and they were saying how if you were coaching against Radar Patton, or if you were officiating a game that Radar Patton was coaching in, that at least 2 or 3 times during the game as you were going down the court, not only would he engage you in conversation, but he would pat you on the butt.
Yeah.
So Radar was one that would always pat the officials on the butt. And this one official told me, he said, I just had to finally turn around and say, Radar, quit tapping me on the butt. But that's how he'd get your attention, and engage you and try to lobby for a call or try to point out something that maybe you missed, or, hey, watch that guy down there with that elbow, or, hey, that guy's camping out in the lane a little too long, just things like that. But Radar would do it in a fun, comical type of way. He would never, really engage the officials to where he was trying to be rude or crude to them at all.
Oh, no. He was one of the class guys of the game, and
clown. He was a clown out there, really.
He had fun coaching.
That's right.
He loved to be around kids, and he enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I know that Doug learned so much from Radar, and I'm sure it's just hit Doug really, really difficult, just like it has that whole community and that whole county down there. But congratulations to the Gallatin County Hawks as they move on with their regional championship last night. Another regional championship, of course, won by the Woodlawn Cardinals. And get this, Danny, that's now 8 regional championships in the last 10 years for the Woodlawn Cardinals.
Yeah, they're on a roll. The only people in the gym last night wanting Woodlawn to win was Woodlawn. I don't know how many times said, I'd just like to see Weber win so Woodlawn doesn't.
Well, I'm sure there was a lot of Weber fans there last night. We're going to talk to Coach Brian Gamber of the Woodlawn Cardinals about that championship game last night. That's coming up next on the Sports Couch after these messages and station identification. We'll be right back.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Real Life Radio is grateful for the underwriting support of Taylor Flooring in Mount Vernon. Located at 328 Main Street in Mount Vernon, Taylor Flooring specializes in the sales, service, and installation of top brands such as Mohawk, Southwind, and LW Mountain. 100% locally owned and operated by Mark and Sherry Taylor, Taylor Flooring in Mount Vernon has your flooring needs covered. Their phone number is 315-6004.
This is your station for the Casting Crowns concert on Good Friday, April 14th at the SIU Arena in Carbondale. This is WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, McLeansboro, and Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music. 90.9 The Vine.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We have live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. Stick around. Coming up later on the show, we're going to be talking to some Hall of Famers as it's Hall of Fame weekend in Mount Vernon. We'll talk to some of those Hall of Famers going into the Mount Vernon High School Sports Hall of Fame. But right now, here's a guy who is on cloud 9 this morning after coming from behind last night to win a regional championship. That's Coach Brian Gamber of the Woodlawn Cardinals. Good morning, Brian. How are you?
Hey, great. I'm doing great. How are you?
You got to have a big, big smile on your face this morning after your Cardinals came from behind last night to win a very, very tough ball game over Weber Township Trojans in overtime. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. And you're right. You know, we enjoyed last night. Obviously, our kids have worked extremely hard, and they've kind of stuck with it, even though at times it's been a challenge. And you know, the last 2 games, wow. I mean, just 2 really good high school basketball games where both teams, you know, just going at it. And and last night trailing basically from start to finish, and having to make some big shots and get some big stops, and really, I mean, that's just what it's all about. You know, two teams that wanted it and were competing hard, and our kids just stuck in there. You know, it kind of shows the fight, the competitiveness that they have, even when they're down. You know, they kind of stay with it. They keep grinding out possessions and make big shots whenever it counts. And, yeah, you know, it's happy for them. It was good to see them celebrate because, like I said, there's been moments where it's been a little tough this year, but they have worked extremely hard, and they deserve to celebrate last night. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy it a lot last night as well.
Absolutely. Well, let's go back to your semifinal game first, and we'll talk about last night's championship game because Danny was there, so he'll have definitely a lot of comments about last night. The semifinal game against Waltonville, you win that one 43-42. Now, here's the Spartan team that you've played several times this year. It's a team that ran the table in the Midland Trail and won the regular season conference. And you got out on those guys, I think, 19-4 the other night early, but you knew they were going to make a run. You knew they were going to come back, and boy, did they ever. And you had to hold on to win that one 43-42. Talk about that semifinal win over the Spartans.
Yeah, again, you know, we had obviously seen them 3 times, and we knew what to expect. We knew how difficult it was going to be. And, you know, we talked about getting off to a good start. I just never thought it was going to be a 19-4 after one quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we told our kids, hey, listen, they are going to make a run. We were 7 for 7 in the first quarter. We're going to miss some shots. They're going to, you know, catch fire a little bit. And honestly, the second quarter, it seemed like the roles were just reversed. You know, we missed some shots, and they caught fire. The McPhail kid did not miss a single 3 the whole game. And so then it was just, you know, just back and forth, you know, going at it, and every time they would make a run and close the gap. It just seemed like we were always capable of maintaining the lead and staying up by 1 or 2, and then really big defensive stops. The last 3 minutes of that game, I mean, we really limited their looks, and they didn't have anything good. And getting some rebounds and when we needed it, and Jackson Bennett with a huge steal and making 2 free throws. And that was a regional championship type atmosphere. And so we told our kids, as good of a win as that was, you know, our goal was Friday night. We got to come down from that excitement and kind of refocus. And I thought our kids did a good job of doing that and coming out and playing really, really hard last night.
Well, and then, you know, you're facing Weber Township in a championship game, and here's a team in Weber that had already been at your place this year and had beaten you in a regular season game at your place at Sides Gym, and they're hot because they'd just knocked off top-seeded Wayne City, and so you knew you were going to get quite an effort last night from Weber, and you did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, they had already beat us early in the year, playing extremely well, and, you know, they were in the same position as us, you know, a huge win in the semifinals, trying to, you know, come down from that and refocus for regional. And again, they did a good job. I mean, their kids played extremely hard. They played well. Obviously, they have got a lot of really good offensive weapons that are capable of scoring in a variety of different ways. And when we knew how difficult it was going to be, I think, you know, for our kids in both situations, you know, kids, they're going to play hard. They're going to compete. Everybody's going to be ready for a regional championship game. And we understood what it was going to take, and we were going to have to really guard hard and block out and do all the little things and not turn the ball over. And we did that. Very few turnovers. Defensively, you know, there were times where we had a few breakdowns, and that was a credit to their personnel. They've got good kids that know how to score. But the last, you know, 3 minutes of the fourth quarter and then the whole overtime, boy, did we do a good job. And our kids, you know, were dialed in and focused and really challenged shots. And, you know, they held the ball for one shot, and for about a minute 30, our kids were guarding hard and then did a nice job. You know, the Helm kid drove in, and our kids, you know, getting big and just making them, you know, try to hit a shot over us and getting a good rebound. We told our kids, that's a big stop. You know, now we've got the momentum going into overtime. Let's feed off of that. And we were able to make some big plays and big free throws down the stretch, and that's what won out.
Yeah, Brian, I was there last night, and I was sitting there behind your bench, and I was really amazed. Your kids trailed the whole game, tied the game at the 5:59 mark, and I thought to myself right then, this Woodlawn team now, if they can get ahead and you hit a free throw to get ahead and then I thought your team really had the upper hand. But I made a comment. There was a couple ladies sitting there in front of me, and I said, the Wallerman boy, every team has to have a kid, and this kid just refuses to lose. And you talk about strapping his teammates on his back. He just strapped them on his back, and you could just tell the other kids fed off of him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you've got a senior that's been through a lot of big games, you know, and has been there and done that, he doesn't want it to end. You know, he knows how good it feels to get on a run and continue postseason success. And when you have one of those, boy, it really can lead you to doing some big things, because he's fighting for his career. You know, he knows that. He wants to keep playing. He wants to keep putting that uniform on. And like I said, he's done a great job of distributing the ball. He obviously made a couple of huge threes.
That shot right there at the end of the half was unbelievable.
Huge. It's huge. You know, that's good players that have been around. They make big-time shots, and that was a difficult shot. And instead of 21-13 at half, now all of a sudden you look up and you think, wow, it's only 2 possessions. That was huge. That was a big momentum for us.
Big swing for your team.
It was. And, you know, we did not shoot the ball well at all in the first half. And so for that one to go down, you know, we kind of told our kids, hey, the second half, we're going to make some shots. We are. And that kind of kept us, you know, right where we needed to be within striking distance. And that's what he does for us. He does so many things on top of, you know, the scoring load. I mean, he's driving in and getting the defense to collapse and kicking it out to our other kids. And then, boy, does he guard, you know, and scraps and does the little things. And we've got a lot of guys that do that. I mean, we really do. Trey Isaac doesn't score a lot of points, but if you're a coach or if you're looking for little things, what a great job he did on Charles Neal, who's capable of scoring 25 to 30 on you. He held him to like 7 or 8 points last night because he's willing to guard and do the little things. And you got to have those. You've got to have kids that accept those roles. And we've got a lot of them. And, of course, we've got a freshman and sophomore that have stepped up. And, boy, did they hit some big shots last night. And they did it Wednesday night as well. And I told them after the game Wednesday, and I told them last night, what I love about both of them is they have the confidence to take those big shots and don't think anything about it. They know they're going in, and that's why they're going to be good players as they progress.
Well, Brian, I want to also tip my hat to you. I watch a lot of different things at a ball game than most people. Matter of fact, one of the women, I kind of was talking with my wife and stuff a little bit, and one of the ladies in front of me said, "You're not just the average basketball fan." I said, "I've probably seen more games than anybody in this gym all winter." But I thought your team really reflected upon you the calmness, the just same coaching level that you coached at the whole game last night. There wasn't the ups and the downs, and there was a lot of opportunities to be up and downs in that game last night, and you maintained that even keel from start to finish. And I thought your team did too, because they were challenged very, very many times. They could have folded their tent and went home, and they just kept plugging away and battling away, and you did the same thing as a coach, and I thought you did a great job with your team last night.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And, you know, our kids, they have done a good job of that all year. They know that, hey, they're just going to keep playing. They're going to keep grinding and competing and understand if they keep doing things right that, you know, we will make a run at it. And, you know, just my personality is kind of who I am. I mean, obviously, in a situation last night, I mean, you're going to get excited. You're going to show some enthusiasm and passion. But, you know, it's a long game, and even when things aren't going well, you just got to stay with it. I've never been a real, you know, emotional type guy, even when I was playing. So I guess that's my personality. And like I said, our kids, they just stayed focused. They stayed dialed in, and they stayed with each other, and they stayed together. And we've talked about that in the postseason. Things are going to go bad. The other team's going to go on a run, and as long as we don't panic and just keep playing, that's how you withstand runs, and we did that. We did that Wednesday. We did that last night, and we're going to have to continue that on Wednesday whenever we face a really good Meridian team. And I think that's how you stay in games in the postseason. That's how you win big games. Is you don't panic. You know, that's your tendency. You want to panic when teams start hitting shots or if you get down 6 or 7. You just have to understand there's a lot of time left in the game. Just keep doing what we've done. and shots will start to fall, and we will start to chip away at it. And our kids did a really good job of that last night.
Brian, one more quick question before we let you go. I've got a shot on the screen right now on our video feed on AreaSports.net, those watching the feed online, of your three seniors holding that championship plaque last night. That senior leadership was huge last night, wasn't it?
Huge. I mean, when you get in these games, you gotta have kids that have been around. You gotta have kids that want to keep the season going. And you know, it really is for those three. Those three have been, you know, all year great as far as every day in practice, getting our kids ready to go, competing, showing our younger kids, you know, what it takes to be successful. And that's preparing well in practice. That's competing hard in practice. And on top, you know, away from basketball, those are three just great kids. I mean, they really are. They do things right. They're polite. They're respectful. Zach Ashby, who's one of the three seniors, you know, him and I went to the Dominican together on a mission trip. And you know, he's just a great kid. I mean, all three of them. And I told a lot of people that last night. What the best part and why I'm in coaching is after the game, just sitting back and watching those kids celebrate with friends and family, because they've earned it. They really have. They've put their time in. They've competed. They've practiced hard. And that's what it's about. It's watching those kids enjoy the moment and celebrating with each other and understanding that, you know, they've been through a lot of conditioning. They've been through a lot of practices, summers, preseason, a lot of things from the time they were second or third grade. And to see them have a moment like last night, it's like I said, it's what it's all about. It's what you coach for. At least that's why I coach, is to watch them have success. And it makes you feel good. That's the best part of winning big games, is watching them celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Brian, we appreciate you joining us this morning on the Sports Couch. Again, congratulations on that regional championship win last night over Weber Township. And best of luck as you move on into the sectional and take on Meridian next week, okay?
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
All right, you bet. All right, you too. Bye-bye. Yeah, okay, Coach Brian Gamber, man, he's a happy guy this morning, and why not? He's had an incredible week as they came from behind to beat Waltonville and Weber Township, and boy, what a win last night, and you got to see it firsthand there, Danny, and I know that you enjoyed that game.
Yeah, it was a great game to watch. It was a great atmosphere, Randy. You know, that gym is a great facility for high school basketball, and big crowd, regional championship games, you're going to have them, and now the next level is just going to pick up another notch, and they're going to travel down to Woodlawn. Will travel to North City on Wednesday night to take on a very good Meridian Bobcat team, and that Meridian team will be a big challenge. They've got some strength, they've got some shooters, and they've always got that lightning quickness that they have, and that schedule that Eric Griffith has played all season long was for this point in time. I mean, he's took on all challengers. He's been in a lot of 2A, 3A brackets. They've not had many cupcakes on their schedule, and that Meridian Bobcat team is going to be a handful down there, and it would not surprise me to see them come out of there as sectional champions.
Yeah, well, again, congratulations to Brian Gamber and the Woodlawn Cardinals. In fact, we'll be talking to his dad here in just a little while and get his feedback on that, too, as Judge Gamber was there watching the game at Wayne City last night to watch his son win. And, of course,
he was a very happy camper when he was leaving the gym, because I walked out right beside him when we spoke a little bit on the way out.
Yeah, I'm sure that he was. And his one of the teams that he played on with the Rams, the 64-65 Rams, are going into the Mount Vernon High School Sports Hall of Fame this weekend, as the banquet will be held tonight. So we'll have Judge Gamber on with us here in just a little bit. But right now we want to have head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, Doug Creel, on the show with us, because the Rams, while they lost last night, man, oh man, did they make things exciting down the stretch against the defending state champion Belleville-Altough Crusaders. Down 17 points early in the third quarter. They battle back, and they get the game all the way down to 2 points, Danny, down to 2 points with 1:20 left before falling last night to the Crusaders by a score of 54-47. Doug Creel joins us right now. Good morning, Doug. How are you?
Good morning, guys.
Hey, that was quite a battle last night at the high school gym. As boy, your Rams did not quit, and I just want to tip my hat to you and to those Ram players for battling back from 17 down to get it down to 2 points. That was a lot of fun down the stretch.
Well, it was. It's a credit to our young man that we got back in the game. I was a little disappointed that we got down 17. I didn't think we played well early. I didn't think we competed well. The positives I'll take away is, like you said, that we did fight back. We did get it to 2. I think it was a 2-point game, and we got them to miss a free throw. Unfortunately, they got the rebound and ended up getting a 3-point play out of it. But we did give ourselves a chance. We did the same thing over there. We got down big, got it back, and then they made a couple plays down the stretch. And I was just a little disappointed with our start, how we played early. I can't quite put my finger on it, but hey, we'll try to build from that and get ready for Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night you'll play in the regional course against the Salem Wildcats, a team that you've played already this year, and a team that's playing real well right now because Salem played Benton to a 5-point game the other night. So it's going to be quite a battle come Monday night up at Centralia against Salem.
Well, Salem's a pretty good basketball team. They've been on a roll. They'd won 6 or 7 games here out of their last 8 or 9. They played Benton very well. I heard somebody say Benton must have played. No, Benton didn't play bad. Salem's just pretty good, and they put it on us in the Salem tournament. I'm hoping our kids want to keep playing and get to that Tuesday night game because you never know. You just gotta, this time of year you gotta go win. And I want us to get off to a little better start. We had a bad second quarter against Salem, and I just didn't think we played well early last night either. I don't know whether it was the fact that, hey, it's blackout, Hall of Fame, senior night. I felt like our 2 seniors played very well. Quentin Quiava and Brian Bain had to fill in because Lucas Cooper's sick, and so those are positives. You said we got it to 2. I think we were 1 for 6 from the free throw line. I'd like to shot a few more free throws, but you'd like to make a few of those that we got too. So. I guess the positive is that, hey, we put ourselves in a position to win the game. We just didn't get done.
Yeah, well, that was as loud of a crowd as I heard this year at the new gym. In fact, the biggest crowd that we had, a big student section there last night for Hall of Fame night and senior night, which really helped. And, yeah, down the stretch there in that final few minutes, it got pretty loud and pretty exciting there, and the Rams really battled hard.
Well, you know what? We've considering that we've won 7 games, we've had good crowds all year, so I've been very pleased with our fan base, our support, and we have played exciting basketball. The 5 games that we've won at home, I think our 4 games that we won at home have been real exciting games, and close games could have gone either way, and last night could have gone either way. Their athleticism made a difference and made some plays, and we needed a couple breaks here or there and just didn't get it.
Yeah. Well, this is Hall of Fame weekend, of course, in Mount Vernon, and going to be some individuals going into the Hall of Fame tonight, as well as some teams, and that 64-65 basketball team going in that Bill Kirk and Judge Gamber and some other players were on. That'll be an exciting time for all of them. And a guy that you know well, that was a great athlete in football, basketball, wrestling, you name it. David Spann is going in as an individual, and that'll be exciting for him, and I'm sure you're proud of him as well as the other inductees.
Oh, yeah. David might be the best 5'11" post player ever in the South 7, but he was an outstanding football player, running back, and my first year back, my first year as head coach, David was a senior, and he did a great job and really used his body around the basket. I mean, he's a big, strong guy. He's hard to handle, and he just had a great career. I'm very proud of him. And I played, even though Dave Moffort's a little older than me, I played cold melt baseball with him down in Harrisburg, and so I'm very familiar with a lot of those guys. Of course, the Gambers, and I heard you say something about Brian Gamber. Very proud of him. Former player, now coaching Woodlawn, and got him a big regional championship. So I'm happy for him and Gamber family, and just going to try to enjoy the Hall of Fame night tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Doug, we appreciate you joining us this morning on the Sports Couch. And, again, we want to encourage fans to get up at Centralia Monday night, 7 o'clock. The Rams will take on the Salem Wildcats in the Class 3A Regional. And I want to wish you luck as you prepare for that game, all right?
All right, sounds good.
All right, we'll see you tonight at the banquet, all right?
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
All righty.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye. It's Coach Doug Creel, the Mount Vernon Rams, of course, also the athletic director for Mount Vernon, and so you have a lot on his plate tonight with the Hall of Fame banquet again, and the Hall of Fame committee doing a great job, as they always do there. And again, some wonderful inductees going into this year's class, some individuals, as well as some good teams, and we're going to be talking to some of those here coming up in the next few moments for the final 30 or 40 minutes of the show. But Danny, again, Coach Creel did a great job last night of getting the most out of the talent that he has, because there's just no mistaking the fact that Belleville-Altough was so much bigger, so much stronger, so much more athletic. They're up by 17 points, and Coach Creel calls timeout, and he really, really gets in the face of his players, and he challenges them last night at that point in the third quarter. And what do? They respond. They go on in this amazing run. The crowd gets behind them. They get the game all the way down to 2 points with 1:20 to go against the defending state champions. It was really something to see.
Well, Randy, that's one of the great things about high school basketball, and it's been a struggle for the Mount Vernon Rams, but they've got better as the seasons went on. They fought. They've worked hard to be in games, and, sometimes the guy driving the ship, he's just got to say, look, guys, I'm not very happy with what's taking place here, and you have to see if your team's going to fold or go home, or whether we're going to bow our necks and go to work. And the Mount Vernon Rams battled and fought and gave themselves a chance to win. And you got to be very happy when, as a coach, your team responds when they get challenged. And Mount Vernon Rams have great leadership under Doug Creel up there, and he's gonna get the most out of every kid that performs. And if they'll work with him, he will try to make them better. And to take Belleville-Altough to the limit that they took them to last night, that's something you feed off of going into Monday night's game.
Well, down the stretch, when the Rams got it into single digits, you could just see Belleville-Altough tightening up last night. And, boy, that crowd got into it. It was as loud as I'd heard all year. And hit got really, really exciting. There was a technical foul down the stretch against the Crusaders. And, again, the Rams get it down to 2 points with 1:20 to go. And, anything can happen in a situation like that. And so even though they come in with all this talent, all this size, all this athleticism, and the defending state champs, again, you don't play the game on paper. You play it out there on the floor.
That's been proven a lot this week.
It sure has, hasn't it? And it will be next week, too, as March Madness continues. Again, the Rams will be in the Class 3 regional Monday night, as they will take on Salem Wildcats on Monday night at Centralia. If they win that game on Monday night against Salem, they'll turn around and play the Orphans on Tuesday night at Centralia. Well, again, a game that you were at last night and Judge Terry Gamber was at last night was watching the Woodlawn Cardinals win that regional championship in Class 1A over Weber Township over at Wayne City. And we're going to talk to Judge Gamber about that. But also, Terry, of course, was a member of that 64-65 Rams basketball team, which is going into the Hall of Fame tonight at the Mount Vernon High School Sports Hall of Fame banquet. And Terry Gamber joins us right now. Good morning, Judge. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, Randy.
Good to have you on the sports couch. And we talked to your son Brian a little while ago, and boy, I could just tell he was wearing a huge smile on his face after that big win last night by Woodlawn. And I'm sure you are wearing that big smile this morning as well.
Sure am. That was quite a game. I was awfully happy and awfully proud of Brian and the Woodlawn team. That was a great win, great tournament for them. They won 2 huge games. So.
Well, they sure did. Yeah, they won that tough semifinal game over Waltonville earlier in the week, and then coming from behind last night against a very hot Weber team who had knocked off Wayne City earlier in the week, and got the game tied, got it to overtime, and then found a way to get it done in overtime. So what a thrilling regional championship win last night for Woodlawn and Coach Brian Gamber.
Yes, it sure was. It certainly was. It was a great win.
Well, it's an exciting night for you, too, because you're a member of that 64-65 Rams basketball team, which is going to go into the Mount Vernon High School Sports Hall of Fame tonight. You're already a member of the Hall of Fame as an individual, but now going in with some of your teammates tonight is going to be extra special, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is. That team was a group of guys that stayed together, stuck together through some adversity, and several seniors that were on that team, Bill Kirk and Lanny Shaw and John Wilt and I had played together since grade school, and Gary Jones then joined us our freshman year, and It's great that we're going in, and I got to visit with Lanny Shaw and Gary Jones and Bill Kirk last night before I headed out to Wayne City, and then I went out to eat with Bill and Gary after the game. So it was a great. It's a great weekend, and I'm very, very proud that our team's going in.
Well, let me talk a little bit about that 64-65 Rams team. You were undefeated at home. You placed second in the prestigious Centralia Holiday Tournament. You won the regional and the sectional championships before losing to Marion at the super sectional at SIU Arena by, I think, 8 points. You have 3 Hall of Famers on that roster, not only yourself but also Danny Hester and Gary Jones. And you were also an all-state player that year in 64-65. And other members on that team include John Wilt, Bill Clark, Louis Grodoff, Mike Napier, Lanny Shaw, Gary Large, Laverne Donahoe, Charles Gunnell, Bill Kirk, Tom Smith-Peters, and Mike Mogg. So tell us some of those great memories you have from that 64-65 team, which was coached by Gene Hale.
Well, one of the unique circumstances for the seniors on that team, in our 4 years in high school, there were 4 head coaches. Our freshman year, Scott Gill was the head coach, and he stepped down at the end of our freshman year. Benny Purcell was the coach our sophomore year, and after that 1 year, he went back to his alma mater, Murray State, as an assistant coach there. Bud Bourneman was our coach our junior year, and then Gene Hale came to Mount Vernon from McLeansboro our senior year. And for kids in high school, that's kind of tough, because not only do you have different styles of play, but different personalities, and it's just that was just a unique situation, and I'm pretty sure that that's never happened to any other senior class in the history of Mount Vernon High School, have 4 different coaches. And our junior year, we really had adversity. Lanny Shaw, as a sophomore, was an honorable mention all-state basketball player, and in those days there were no classes, so that means he's honorable mention all-state Illinois, every school, large to small. And his junior year, he suffered a horrific injury in football, and he missed the entire basketball season as a junior. My dad was in an automobile accident our junior year over the Christmas holidays, and never was able to recover from the injuries, and 28 days after the accident, he passed away, which had a profound effect, obviously, on me, but my teammates and all. And Lanny came back his senior year, had tried to rehab, but he had such a horrific injury that he wasn't able, to continue. And so for us to rally as a team was really, really, to me, remarkable. And we started out the season and we lost 4 games in the first about 5 weeks. But Danny Hester came on, ended up being this outstanding basketball player in the Hall of Fame. He was a junior, and we stayed together. Did not lose a game at home, which was something that was very important to us. We wanted to be undefeated at home. Gary Jones mentioned that last night. When we were in high school, we'd walk out in the lobby of the old Shagnon gym, and we'd see those pictures of the 49 and 50 Rams, and we knew the 50 Rams team, Max Hooper, Walt Moore, and Coach Shagnon, they had been undefeated. And so obviously they didn't lose at home. And Mount Vernon, even the 54 team, had lost at home. So that they had not had a season where they went undefeated at home in quite a while. So that was a goal of ours, and we were very proud of that. We just stuck together, Randy, as a team, and ended up 23-7 and had a really good season.
Well, that's fantastic. Danny, can you imagine playing on a team where you have a different head coach each year, all 4 years in high school, but yet to rise to the occasion like they did in that 64-65 year and accomplish what they did going to the Super Sectional?
Mr. Gamber just commented on that, Randy, that that's quite a challenge for kids at that age level. You like stability, you like to know expectations, but just the demands and the different personalities that they had to deal with, that speaks a lot for those young men, how they could adapt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly so. But because that's hard to comprehend, Terry, that you guys were able to rally the ship and do what you did.
Well, and that's right. And Coach Gill had been at Mount Vernon 8 or 9 years, I think, as head coach, and he ran a very deliberate style of play. And when Coach Purcell came here our sophomore year, the first thing that he did was move 5 sophomores up to the varsity, which had not been done in years and years. And then he started 3 sophomores, which was pretty much unheard of. And he played an up-tempo, fast-break style of offense. And all the guys on the team, or the seniors, will remember this. He had to put, like, mats on the floor to show us what he meant when he was trying to tell us where you were supposed to go on a fast break when you're getting in the correct lanes. we had never played that style of basketball.
That's funny.
And we loved him. And starting 3 sophomores and you got 5 sophomores on the varsity, we were very, very optimistic that we were going to have a shot at maybe going to state and all the next couple of years, and then he has the opportunity of a lifetime for him to go back to his alma mater and leaves. And Coach Borman did not run the fast break style, and neither did Coach Hale. And the other thing, personality-wise, you could not have 2 coaches with different personality than Benny Purcell and Gene Hale. Coach Purcell was he was up and down, stomping and carrying on, and fired us up in his halftime speeches and that sort of thing. And Coach Hale just very, very quiet and also to me that does have an effect on kids, and I that's why I think it was so remarkable that we ended up with as good a season as we did that last year, the 64-65 season, having gone through different coaches and different styles of play.
That's really interesting. Well, Judge, we appreciate you joining us this morning. It's been fun talking to you about this. Look forward to hearing more stories tonight at the Hall of Fame banquet there at the Mount Vernon Township High School. And again, congratulations to you and the other members of that 64-65 team being inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight. Okay?
Well, thanks, Randy, and thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
All right. Okay. See you tonight.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That's Judge Terry Gamber, again, member of that 64-65 team. That's still just amazing to me, Danny, because you got 4 different coaches with 4 different systems, 4 different styles, and then to do what they did in 1965 to go all the way to the Super Sectional, go 24-7, not lose a single home game. That's amazing.
Well, that and one of your best players from your sophomore season to have that kind of injury that he had evidently in football, and to not ever being able to fully recover to be the impact player he was, that says a lot about that group right there.
Yeah, it sure does. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk to another Hall of Fame member, John Ellis, who is going in as a golfer from Mount Vernon Township High School, one of the individuals being enshrined tonight into the Mount Vernon High School Sports Hall of Fame. We'll talk to John coming up next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Music and ministry on the Vine is provided by Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency in Mount Vernon. Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency specializes in providing your life, health, auto, and home insurance, as well as complete financial services. They are located at 4121 South Water Tower Place in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 242-1421, and their website is tonywilt.com. We are grateful for their underwriting support.
You've heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support.
Underwriting on the Vine is provided by B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon. B&C Bicycle Fitness specializes in bikes for the beginning rider to the high-end racer and can equip you with a comfortable bike to enjoy a healthy, active lifestyle with family and friends. B&C Bicycle Fitness is a full-service bicycle shop and is located at 410 South 27th Street in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 816-4077. B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon, where the adventure begins.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We have live video streaming right now on AreaSports.net and live audio streaming on WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. It's Hall of Fame weekend in Mount Vernon, and we're going to speak to another Hall of Famer right now. Going in as an individual tonight at the banquet will be John Ellis. He was a great golfer for Mount Vernon and probably still a good golfer today, truth be known, and he joins us on the phone right now. Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing fine.
Great. Good to have you on the Sports Couch, and let us say congratulations to you for being inducted into the Mount Vernon High School Sports Hall of Fame tonight. I know that's got to be a thrill for you.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's an honor, and I don't feel like I belong with a lot of those folks up there, but it's made a lot of people happy in the family.
Well, I bet it has, and golf is one of those sports that while it is a team sport, it's also an individual sport, and it's one that you got to be pretty self-motivated to play, don't you?
Yep, it's either love it or you hate it. I've decided, but yeah, it's one of those sports.
Yeah, well, first of all, right off the top, I got to ask you, are you still playing golf today?
Yes, I do. I'm still addicted to it. I played almost every day this week, actually.
Have you really?
Well, how come you're not out there playing this morning?
It's a little chilly with the snow flying.
So you're a fair weather golfer, huh?
Well, sort of, yeah.
I'll give folks a little feedback here. John and I met and we worked together out at General Tire, so I'm just jabbing him a little bit here this morning, folks. John, don't let people tell you, he was always trying to get guys to go play him for golf, Randy, out at General Tire, little side wagers and things like that.
Okay.
And he was always trying to play that skin game on them. He was trying to always skin them because they didn't know really what kind of golfer he was.
Gotcha, yeah. Did you do that, John?
No, I would never do anything like that.
Okay. Well, let me talk a little bit about your golf accolades, because some of the stuff is just pretty amazing. You won 20 junior tournaments in the area. Your first tournament you won was at age 8. Now, here's the statistic that gets me. You have recorded 13 holes in one in your lifetime, the first at age 15, and the most recent hole in one in 2012. Now, let's talk about that. How in the world do you get that many holes in one? I mean, and I've never gotten one. I've gotten close, but I've never gotten one, and you've gotten 13.
It's there's a lot of luck involved, I decided.
He's got a lot of good
friends. Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of good friends I play with. Yeah, there's some of them are complete luck. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, that's just that's amazing. So your most recent one was in 2012, and yeah, that's really something. Well, again, going back to what you did there in high school, you contributed right away as a freshman, shooting 74 at a district tournament and tying for second place. The sophomore team had a team record of 20-1, advanced to the state meet. Then as a junior, you placed 5th in the South 7 Conference meet, and you kept your regular season stroke average below 40, which is really pretty amazing. You placed 2nd in the South 7 Conference tournament and won the district with a score of 76. You went on and accepted a scholarship at Rend Lake College, and you played for Coach Jim Wall down there for 2 seasons. and you carded a school record 65 while you were down there at Wren Lake. And so let's talk a little bit about that, too, not only your high school golfing things at Mount Vernon, but also down at Wren Lake.
Yeah, Wren Lake, it was kind of funny. The very first match I played was when I tied their school record, so I was pretty sure I would never top that after my very first match. It was kind of an odd thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely so. What talk about, though, when you're playing golf, I mean, there's not, unlike basketball and football, you don't have all these fans, out there cheering you on. I mean, you're out there pretty much by yourself against your opponent. Your other teammates are out there on the course somewhere, too. But it's a mental game, and it's also a game where, again, you're one-on-one, and you got to be pretty self-motivated, don't you?
Yes, you do. It's once you get to a certain level, really the mental part takes over, and most good golfers, they're like you say, they're pretty competitive. It kind of drives them on, like there's no one else there to, spur you on, unless there'll be a few people out there following you around. But yeah, you got to want to do it.
Yeah. Well, and then golf is one of those sports where you're really only as good or as bad as your last shot, right?
That is true. You got to kind of forget those. And if you don't, it could be a long day.
Yeah, I've been out there on those long days before. That's for sure. You can you can get down after shanking one or hitting one in the water or whatever. But that's where the mental part comes in, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. If you have a bad mental day, nothing's going to work. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, talk about that season. Let's see. It was the season where you were 20-1. Your sophomore team you had a team record of 20-1, advanced to the state meet. That sounds like a very special golf team. Talk about that season.
It was. We were a product of Tom Puckett, owner of Indian Hills Golf Course, started a Kids Day when I was probably 7 or 8 or something like that when he started it. And all of us kids grew up playing. They were all older than me, 2-3 years, and I grew up playing with them, and we were our own toughest competition. Actually, the year before that, we were 19-2, and might have had a better team that year. But if we could beat each other, we knew that we could beat everybody else, because every time we went out and played, we were playing against the best basically in Southern Illinois, because that's how good we were. We had 8-10 guys that could all be the best player that day.
Yeah. Well, during your senior year, you were medalist in every match that you played in, which is incredible, and you carded a school record score of 32 in one match. I'm assuming that 32 must still be a school record?
As far as I know, I don't think anyone's broke it, but it's possible. I don't know.
Do you remember that particular match and that particular day that you shot the 32?
Oh yeah, it was like it was yesterday. I remember two things that happened. On the second hole, I shanked the ball, and I was probably further away on my third shot than I was my second shot.
Wow.
Knocked it up on the green, saved my par, and went on and birdied 4 more holes and shot 32. So had to shank in that round, and that's pretty unusual.
Wow. Well, for those of us who are more novice golfers and don't have near the experience or the expertise that you have, well, what advice would you give to people out there that golf, sometimes, but don't golf enough in order to try to improve their game? What's some of the top tips you would give to somebody to improve as a golfer?
Most people I see just try too hard. I don't know if there's any tips. I'm no great teacher, more of a mental guy, and most people try too hard, try to hit it too far, and worry too much about where it's going, and just don't try too hard and make it fun.
So would you say let the club do the work more than trying to overpower it?
Keep your brain out of it. That's what you got to do.
A little easier said than done, right, Danny?
I don't know. I'm not a golfer. I never did see what was so fun about chasing around one of those little white balls. So I never got involved in that game.
But it's something you either do like or you don't, though,
That's right,
John? Yeah.
Yep, you love it or you hate it.
Yeah. Well, tell us about how you felt last night walking out there on the floor at the gym at Mount Vernon High School when you were introduced last night to the large crowd, and the feeling that you had last night in front of the crowd. That had to be special.
Yes, it was. It was overwhelming, and you just hear what all these other people had done, and you're thinking, boy, I don't belong with this group, and it was really nice. The detail that the committee goes to, I had no idea all the stuff that they did. They do a lot of work.
They do. They do tremendous research, and they do it upright, and they've put a new display in there at the new school, and tonight's banquet, I'm sure, will be nice, as it has been every year, and you'll have a chance to rub shoulders with a lot of other Hall of Famers tonight. Not only the class that's going in with you tonight, but there'll be other Hall of Famers like Max Hooper and people like that that'll come back tonight, as many of them do each year for the Hall of Fame banquet, and so it's going to be an absolute blast for you tonight.
Yes, I met him last night. Matter of fact, I talked to him for a little bit. It's
good.
It's pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, John, I want to congratulate you personally. Enjoy this time in your life. It's something that you'll always cherish, and I'm very happy for you.
Well, I appreciate it. It is quite an experience.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you tonight at the banquet. All right, John? And again, congratulations.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you for joining us this morning. Appreciate it. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That is John Ellis, legendary golfer for Mount Vernon, still playing golf. I still can't get over the 13 holes in one. That just that blows my mind.
Yeah, John takes golf very seriously.
Clearly he does.
He loves the game. He has a tremendous passion for it still today, and folks, don't go out and wager on the golf course with him because he'll take your money.
Yeah, it's probably...
I've seen him set them guys up at General Tire for years.
Is that right?
They'd schedule these big golf games. We worked weekends, 12-hour shifts in there, and it'd start out joking around, and John would always be one of these guys that laid in the bushes.
Oh, boy.
You thought he'd probably only been to the golf course once or twice in his lifetime, and he'd pick them guys like you pick chickens up there for money.
That's hilarious. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk to another Hall of Famer, and that is David Spann. You heard what Coach Creel had to say about him earlier. We'll talk to David himself coming up next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Compassion International and Museum of the Bible present Casting Crowns, The Very Next Thing Tour.
One step away from surrender, one step away from coming home.
With special guest Danny Goki.
There's a road in front of me. Tell your heart to beat again.
And Unspoken.
Start a fire in my soul.
Join Casting Crowns for The Very Next Thing Tour, performing songs from their latest album, The Very Next Thing, as well as all your favorite Casting Crowns hits.
Living, he loved me. Dying, he saved.
Casting Crowns, The Very Next Thing Tour with Danny Goki and Unspoken. It's an evening you won't want to miss.
Get your tickets now to see Casting Crowns, Danny Goki, and Unspoken at the SIU Arena on Good Friday, April 14th. Tickets are on sale now, and buy them on our website at wvyn.org. And welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We have live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net, live audio streaming at wvyn.org. I'm Randy Olson live in studio along with Danny Anselment. Well, it is Hall of Fame weekend, as we said, here in Mount Vernon, and a lot of different individuals as well as teams going into the Mount Vernon High School Sports Hall of Fame tonight at the banquet. The dinner begins at 5:30. The banquet will be after that in the theater there at the new high school. And don't have time to talk to all the inductees this morning, unfortunately, but we want to check in with another one right now, and that is David Spann. David joins us right now on the show. Good morning, David. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good.
Great.
Excited about the day.
Well, I'm sure you are excited, yeah, and it was great to see you there last night, being introduced in front of the crowd there between games. That had to give you some goosebumps last night, going out on the floor, huh?
Yeah, it was really exciting. It was kind of a little overwhelming. I didn't think I would feel like that, but it was good.
You know, that's what a lot of inductees say. They say that when they get that introduction there in front of the hometown fans on the floor, that does give you goosebumps and is kind of overwhelming. And John Ellis kind of said the same thing right before you a moment ago. And when you see everybody show their appreciation to you after the career that you've had, yeah, it can definitely be overwhelming. But certainly you are very deserving in what you have done as an athlete at Mount Vernon Township High School. And I'm sure when you originally got the call or got the notification that you were going into the Hall of Fame, you had to be thrilled.
I was super excited. I've been wanting it, but I never really talked about it. And when Coach Turner gave me a call, I was super excited. I think I ran up the stairs and told my wife, I'm in.
Well, that's neat. That is really, really neat. Yeah. Well, you know, you played multiple sports there at Mount Vernon, and of course, a lot of people remember you as a football running back, and the fact that you held the school record for total rushing yards for many years until I think it was just broken recently. But you rushed for over 1,000 yards, not once but twice. So you had over 2,000 yards rushing for your career, and that was some amazing accomplishments, David.
It was a big grind, and it was fun. Running over people is fun.
Well, that's what you did too, man. You ran over people. That's for sure. I remember it well.
Yeah. It was fun. Collisions. You know, going out there. You know, grinding for your teammates. You know, that's what it was all about.
Yeah. Well. Go ahead, Dick.
I liked what Doug Creel said. He said he was the best 5'11" big man under the basket in the South 7.
Yeah, best 5'11" post player in the South. That's what Coach Creel said about you this morning.
It was a mental edge. It was whatever we needed. I needed to do, but when I got out there, I felt like whatever I needed to do, I could accomplish. So size, height wise, was not. I didn't have a lot, but I could jump, and I could hold my position. So I just made it happen. And
yeah, well, you played so much bigger than your height. Like you said, you didn't let the lack of the height stop you because, again, being just 5'11", I mean, you played much bigger than your height when you were playing in the post for the Rams, and you just muscled your way around, and you were able to use your strength to maneuver in there, and you were very, very successful.
Yes, it was, playing with older kids a lot, you have to find a way to get the ball. And when I was younger, and my big brothers, they used to tell me, look, we can't pick you if you can't play, so you got to find a way to make it happen. And that just kind of carried me all the way through.
Yeah. I've got a picture up on the screen right now of you being introduced in front of the hometown crowd last night. Carlika sent us this photo this morning. Appreciate that. But, again, lots of accolades last night from people who remember you playing not only football but also basketball. And looking at some of the numbers from basketball, you played quite a bit as a sophomore. You had 115 points as a sophomore, 266 as a junior, and 387 as a senior. So you end up with a total of 778 points as a Rams basketball player, which puts you 37th on the all-time list. And then, of course, I mentioned in football you had the back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing years. You were the career yardage leader, school record there for a while. You were all-conference honors and all-South honors in both your junior and your senior year, and, of course, earning those 3 varsity letters in football. Tell us some of the best memories that you have playing football, because you mentioned, running over people was a lot of fun. But as far as from your personal standpoint and from a team standpoint, what are some of the great memories you have playing Rams football?
One of my personal accomplishments that I had was as a sophomore. I actually got an opportunity to start a football game at defensive end with my brother.
Oh, cool.
At the other end. So that was big, being able to have both Spanns, on the end, starting the game. I'm a sophomore, he's a senior. That one sticks out to me the most because I was just proud that I was able to put, to get out there.
Sure.
With him.
Oh, yeah.
And also the record-breaking game against Carbondale. I think I had 222 yards that game. And I remember when I broke the record, I should have scored. And everybody was so excited for me. And I was like, oh, I should have scored. I should have scored. And it was funny, but my teammates were going crazy. And it was just a great moment there. It was
yeah, that's great. Well, tell us some of the memories you have in playing basketball and some of the guys that you remember playing with and stuff there on the Rams basketball floor.
Basketball was big. My sophomore year, coming in, you guys had, we had Tim Holloway, Chad, Kevin Bourne, Jay Settles, all those guys were playing.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to move in and get the respect, and love from those guys, the admiration to say, we want you to be out there. We named you honorary captain at the end of the season. That means I earned their respect. I earned a lot of their battles.
Yeah, and you're
first.
Well, I was going to say, and you're talking about some guys in Holloway and Chad Hammonds and whatnot that are Hall of Famers themselves. So that when you earn their respect, that says something.
Yeah, that was a big moment for me, especially being a new guy in town at the time, and just playing. My thing was just play hard every time, and then going into my junior and senior year, I knew that I would be the man. I had the most experience. I got hurt my junior year. I had to have missed half the season. But I got back as soon as I could because I knew that I knew that I needed to be out there.
Yeah.
Everything I did was for me to be out there with my teammates.
Yeah.
Hurt or not, I felt like I needed to be out there.
Well, and as Coach Creel was saying this morning, you were playing the post at 5'11", but the Rams didn't have a whole lot of size at that time. I mean, we weren't blessed with a whole lot of height, and you had the experience and you had the strength, and more importantly, you had the willpower and the motivation to do what you needed to do inside, and you did.
Yeah, the mindset is big. Just believing in yourself. I played against some big guys that laughed at me when they seen that I was playing inside. But then I would go in there and give them some work. And by the end of the game, their respect level for me, they always would remember playing a 5'10", 5'11" guy down there that just beat me up for the whole game.
What do you think about
That's
that,
what
Daddy?
it was.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I was been there and done that deal. I was kind of the same way myself. I know where he's coming from on this, and these guys think, this guy's not going to come in here and I'm going to have a big game. And first thing you know, the tables got turned on them, and guys respected you for that. And I can relate definitely to what he just said right there. And it's a great feeling to be able to go in there and know you're outmanned every night. And at the end of the battle, a lot of times you won the battle.
Yeah, we think.
Hey, you win the battle, you get the respect from everybody you play against. Coaches, players, it's one of my things was always, no matter who I played against, I hope they brought their lunch that day because it was going to be a long day, regardless of, what happened. So.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, I'm sure you're looking forward to the banquet tonight, and you got your speech all written and everything?
I got some points down. I'm hoping I don't get emotional up there, but it's a lot to take in to go back over these years and see what you accomplished and see how many people last night that pulled me to the side and expressed, how they felt about me watching me those years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it meant a lot.
Well, and as I said to John Ellis just a little bit ago, I said, it's not just the guys that are going into the Hall of Fame with you tonight in the induction class, but there will be a lot of people there tonight that are Hall of Famers themselves that are coming back for this banquet as they do each year. People like Max Hooper, guys like that, they will pull you aside and they will talk to you tonight, if they haven't already, about what an honor this is and that you're in, some pretty rare company now. And, it means a lot.
Right.
So
it's surreal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, again, we appreciate you joining us this morning, David, on the Sports Couch. Again, we want to say congratulations in your induction into the Hall of Fame. Look forward to seeing you tonight at the banquet and hearing what you have to say and how things go. And again, just real proud of you and real happy for you, okay?
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, David. Thank you. Have a great day. We'll see you tonight. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, that's David Spann, another Hall of Famer going in as an individual. And, boy, I tell you what, Danny, he was fun to watch play basketball because, again, 5'10", maybe 5'11" was generous, on his height. More like 5'10", but definitely a wide body, very strong, very determined. And he's going against guys 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", night after night after night. And at the end of the battle, David Spann most of the time would win that battle, and you couldn't hardly box David Spann out. He would box you out.
Well, it's all about having the desire, the want to, the willpower, and you can just tell when a guy says that the enjoyment was running over people.
Yeah, when he played football, yeah.
One of the great things he remembered was just running over people. That tells you how tough of a dude this guy is.
He was. Well, 1,000-yard rusher 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
Unbelievable
in high school football.
Oh, man, I tell you what.
That's over 9 games,
yeah,
folks.
Yeah, he was a great athlete. Great athlete and well-deserved, so happy for David Spann and the others that are going into the Hall of Fame tonight. We're out of time, Danny. Man, this 90 minutes went by fast, didn't it?
Been a busy show. Had a lot of great people on with us this morning, and
sure
March Madness is coming to play. Full tilt this week.
3A and 4A regionals begin this week, and the 1A and 2A sectionals begin as well, and we'll be back to talk more about that next week on the Sports Couch. Hope that you're here with us as well every Saturday morning during the high school sports season from 8:30 until 10. And we'll talk to you again next Saturday morning. Have a great weekend, everyone. So long. Your station for the Casting Crowns concert on Good Friday, April 14th at the SIU Arena in Carbondale. This is WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, McLeansboro, and Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music, 90.9 The Vine.
At 20 years of age, I'm still looking for a dream. A war's already waged for my destiny. But you've already won the battle, and you've got great plans for me. Though I can't always see, 'cause I got a couple dents in my fender, got a couple rips in my jeans, try to fit the pieces together, but perfection is my enemy, and on my own I'm so clumsy, but on your shoulders I can see I'm free to be me. When I was just a girl, I thought I had it figured out. See, my life would turn out right, and I'd make it here somehow. But things don't always come